Floor is yours.
All right. Greetings. All right. Serious question. How many of you know what the Alps Competitive Fellowship is?
Was it on Middle League?
Kind of.
Well, I was looking into like the Instagram page of that, and that's why I came here for the conference.
Okay, cool. So I'm the director of the Office of Competitive Fellowships. My name is Terumi Rafferty-Osaki, aka Dr. T. Those of you who play Pokemon Go, my handle is Tao Pikachu. I'm one of only 2 level 50s in the entire area. Also just caught my 500,000th Pokemon the other day. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm globally ranked. Yep.
This close 37.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's nice. Which team? Which team?
Mystics.
Good. Got the red team. Good. All right. Aside from that, the OCF, Office of Competitive Fellowships, most people kind of like dynamically think it's under the honors college, so it's only for honor students. 100% not true. It's for everybody. We work on personal, professional, and academic goals. In other words, it's an office of dreamers. Big thing is, everybody thinks for scholarships. Not true. And trust me, I bring the competitive fellowships. You know, I play just as hard in there as I do playing Pokemon Go. Having said that, what's really about is trying to connect you with whatever your long-term life goal is. So for example, let's say that you happen to be interested in mathematics and basketball. Right? Sabermetrics is a thing. There's this whole entire idea that like you should have math and things like that. My goal is not necessarily just fellowships. It's like, well, how do we get you there? Calvin, how do we get you there?
Looking for different opportunities in the area that can get me an in the world of sports, and then also finding ways to connect my different passions. So finding ways to connect math and data science with sports.
Right. So it's basically think about it like that, right? And sometimes there is no fellowship available for it. Other times there are. So starting here at FGCU, maybe it's being a manager for a team, and in which case it's not necessarily looking at stats yet, but accumulating something and then kind of having the opportunity to really like look at the floor, you know, think about points per shot ratio from different areas, and then how do we work with like the screen versus like, you know, a 1-3-1 defense or something like that, and work around that and navigate it, or what's like really the difficulties here. That might be something that you can do as a research project even in there. So I work with Victoria, and one of the things that she's looking at is Markov chains. I'm gonna be very honest with you, I'm a historian, so like this is like, it's like Charlie Brown's teacher. I'm like, oh, when I hear certain things and like look at formulas, I'm like, cool, I believe you. More importantly, it's what can you do with that, right? So with Markov chain, she's thinking about it from the idea of like probability analysis. And so she's looking at it from like supply chain management issues. Because we all know it's a thing right now. If you don't know, you should probably get tires if you need them right now for your car. Because this is not a joke, but honestly, it's not supposed to get better until the second quarter of next year. So I'll just let you know it's a major problem, even more so during emergency situations, right? So when FEMA moves in there, it's problematic because like sometimes you don't have certain things in the right areas, and you're looking for it to optimize ways to bring certain things to certain areas. That's cool. Using that, having this opportunity to do this thing and helping people. It's like seriously high impacts, broader impacts that you can have on society. There are awards for these types of things. NSF-REU's National Science Foundation has research experiences for undergraduates. Difficult, but not impossible. So last year we worked with 4 people for NSF-REU's, and there were 2 people who actually got into 2 different experiences, and another person who received 1. So 3 out of 4 people. That's what we're looking to do. How can we get you there? NSF-REU's are also funded, so not only do you get the experience, you also live on a different campus, see how they do different things, and then also from that, get money for your future. Because they usually pay anywhere from $5,000 to $200, which I believe is like a semester here. So that's a good news. But it's also, they not only give you housing, room and board sometimes, but they also give you other experiences like weekend excursions, things like that. Also, if you get into an RU program, usually what that means is we'd like for you to come back. Like you do a good job, we'd like for you to come back for your PhD. If you don't want that, there's something else, which is down the line. So you have a situation where it's what's called the NSF-GRP, Graduate Research Funding Program. This is kind of like the gold standard for like any type of stuff. I apologize, it's my D&D group, I know it. Yep. We're in a bad situation right now. I don't want to talk about chaotic neutral. Bad idea. So the situation is this. NSF-GRP, $170,000. 3 years worth of funding. $12,000 for lab, $34,000 for you. But then there's like other things that are not available and doable. That's some serious cash. They're actually looking for more people to be involved in that. They're actually looking for mathematicians. Much of the pie goes to like biology and chemistry from what I'm seeing. Math is highly sought after. I can tell you that much. You do it, you're all set for grad school. And not only that, any grad school will take it. The other option, and by the way, this is open for sophomores all the way through senior year. Actually, sophomores and juniors being smart. That's actually name it. Science, math, arts, some research and technology, something. This is actually sponsored by Department of Defense. And for those who are thinking about working for the federal government, they'll pay for everything. They'll pay for your undergraduate and they'll pay for your graduate degree. However many years they're paying for, you owe to Department of Defense and or another branch, DHS or something like that. But you are also getting a federal position afterwards. So it's actually not that bad, including like, you know, government pay and as well as like government benefits, which if you don't know, truly wrong. There's a lot of different possibilities out there for the future. And there's also things that are outside of it. So let's say you want to do something in terms of public policy, right? Let's say that there's that intersectionality. There's actually something called Public Policy and International Affairs, you know, Junior Summer Institute. The reason why I bring this up is like, wait, this sounds like something like tree huggers would do. That's true. However, there is actually a section at Carnegie Mellon to go into their data analytics track. And they're looking for people for that particular sector. So it's that intersectionality between math as well as public policy, which is actually a major part of this. Whatever it is you want to do, that's the goal of the office, is to try and find something and find a path to reaching that one. This is kind of like what I do on a regular basis when I'm not going crazy with like full break, which is a whole other mess in and of itself. Do you have any questions? Yes, sir.
Are there like set deadlines or is it like a rolling, we come to you and you figure it out with us?
So the best thing I can say to you is start early. Come to me freshman, sophomore year, even when you don't know what it is you want to do, because that's actually my job. Like it is literally to find out what you like to do and kind of like really dig in. That level of self-reflection, like just using that time is actually really important for a lot of people. And here's the thing that I always tell people. Is I've had people come back to me from fellowships and they're like, "Ooh, I didn't want to do that," or "That's not for me." That's a good thing. Failure is just as important as finding exactly what it is you want to do, because you know what you don't want to do, so you can knock that off your list. Truth is, millennials, and I know that you're beyond that one because like old people like me don't even know what it is now. Millennials have 7 jobs before they actually settle into a career. My question is, why do you have to go through that much before you settle into a career? Why not try and find things now by thinking about who you are, where you want to go, so that you can land that dream job a lot sooner, which then impacts future earnings potential and everything else. That's a big part of it. There are set deadlines for all these boards. So for example, I'm supposed to come in here and talk about Goldwater. which is specifically the highest award in the country for anybody in STEM fields. Hi. The due date for Goldwater is January 31st. So if anybody's doing hardcore research and wants to go to graduate school and you know you want to go to a PhD program, we should be soon. Because like the process can take a while. Actually, you can ask somebody back here. How was the process for Goldwater?
It was okay. I'm done. Did you get my email? I submitted.
Oh, yeah, I got that email. Congratulations. Actually, much more important than anything else. Because like the thing about awards is you have to be very, very good and very, very lucky. And I've literally seen applications where if you literally change the name of one school to the other, and by the way, this happened to my firstborn child up in Rollins College. She's been in 1 year under Rollins, didn't get it. Submitted the same damn application, maybe it's like alterations. Proceeded next year. You know why? Georgia Tech. Sometimes these things happen. But Goldwater is a process. Anybody who knows that this is something they want to do, move on to the PhD program. Like now is supposedly the recruiting time. And you know, we've had 3 Goldwaters in the past 2 years. Yes, sir.
I'm hearing gold water.
Gold.
Gold.
Yep. It's named after Barry Goldwater,
Okay.
the former senator.
Thank you.
So, deal is this. Regarding everything you've heard for a long time, like before I was here, I think there was a culture where people thought FGCU students could not win. I came here to play. So I'll get you through the process, but more importantly, if you're winning at life, that's actually my main goal. It's true.
If you've seen the banners of all the award winners hanging in the Cohen Center and in Whitaker, he's behind most of those people winning.
Like the Hall of Fame.
I've only had 4 or 5 Hall of Famers past years.
Or like in the atrium, like next to the stairwell, there's like banners of people and it's like their picture and their name and the award they won. And he's helped a lot of people in there.
Yes.
What's your office called again?
Office of Competitive Fellowships. I actually have cards, so I'm just gonna. The one thing I can tell you is the process is not easy, and it does take time. And one of my favorite students was also, forget my language, but my biggest pain in the ass one said, and she did say this. She was like, "This is more work than a class sometimes, depending on what it is. But what you gain from the process is actually much more important than the award itself. Better understanding yourself is great. Getting to know what you actually want to do and be able to articulate it is like actually really important. Because I'll tell you something else. The things that I look at are like transferable skills. What happens in the office is it's not just about like the award. It's about, do you have the right CV? Are you able to articulate things in the resume? Can you make the 1-minute elevator pitch about yourself? Are you able to then move on to public speaking? These are all things that happen. I have one person sitting in my office right now, biggest loser. Lost out on PPIA junior summer and school. Lost out on PPI service weekend. Lost out on Truman, which is like the biggest award for people who want to be public servants. Not only did she lose out on Truman, she was actually the last person. She was the last person cut before finals. And it's like when that happens, it's kind of starting. Here's the thing. Didn't matter. So in the end, she knows what she wants to do. She's working on issues surrounding national park services and diversity. And for those of you who don't know, 76 to 80% of all park visitors are white. How do you make this more inviting for different people, especially with a place like Everglades National Park, right? Give you a perfect example, Everglades, the 3 communities around it, very large Hispanic population, very large Black population, and a very large Native American population, because that's actually the one line prior. The mixed student industry, right? How do you bring people into the parks? That's what she's working on. In addition to all this, because of the action went through this process, you know, and of course I had a crazy ass idea of like story mapping ArcGIS. She's been appointed by the university provost, by the provost office, to be the student project manager on this one. Here. What I'm saying to you is my commitment to all of the students who actually continue through that process doesn't stop. Nobody's losing. There are alternative forms of winning, and that's what we find. And although she lost out on these three things, she's going to be okay. Like I said, I came here to play. Other questions? By the way, it's not to say that we haven't done well. We had 55 recipients in the past 2 years as an office. Other questions?
For the like, I heard you say, I think it was like FUR for the undergraduate research, whatever it was. Is that like on stuff like summer cycles or like summer?
NSF,
And
so National Science Foundation.
Yeah.
Research experiences for undergrad are used. Yes, so those are specifically for the summertime.
Yeah.
There are other awards that can bring you to different areas during the year, depending on what you want to do. So if you were thinking about the intersectionality between math and, let's say, international education or something like that, there's actually awards for that too. You can go abroad. There's awards for growing abroad, there's awards for public policy, there's awards for research. Those are the three main branches. There's a world of opportunities available, and you know, it all just depends on where you want to go in the future. Yeah. Other questions? If not, I gotta break like some Valor gems. It's like, this is not. It's been award season. Yeah, these gems are going blue. After this one. Other teams, count your revives.
I have a question.
Sure.
So these are awards, correct?
Yes.
Will there be opportunities for certifications too?
What type of certifications?
I'm not sure. Are there any provided?
So the thing I would say is there's multiple types of awards. If it's an internal award, we're actually not allowed to look at internal awards, namely because there's a concept of competitive advantage. If, however, there's an external award and you're working on that one, you can definitely use the same material for both. So if there's certification internally, it's perfectly fine. I've seen that happen. If you're talking about certs like for Intel or something like that, if there's an award basically for scholarship for that, yes. That's completely doable. Other questions? Yes.
So you help out like anybody looking for competitive fellowships or just like a specific subject?
How about everybody? I mean, I've learned more about, you know, I'm a historian, right? So I look at different things. Like my area of focus is on Asian American immigration history and looking at Japanese American internments. Not only that, is looking at issues surrounding perceptions and performance of masculinity. That's what I actually do. And coming from the campus, there were two trends that happened. One, you had model minority, which is what they wanted because that is in line with heterosexual normative. And the second thing is with like cultural and civil disobedience, which was silenced by people. Put it to you this way, sometimes if you're like, what are you talking about? That's how I feel like working with like science people. But the big thing is, I work with everybody because it's actually a real gift to be able to learn about different things, whether it be the organic framework, whether it be, you know, Markov chains, everything like that. Learn a lot. So any major, totally completely doable.
You mentioned metal organic framework.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually doing research with like Manus. So if you wanted to like have, I don't know, like a talk, would that be like have to do like something from the FGCU website or like the competitive Office of Competitive Fellowship? Like from their website, would I have to do like a?
Oh, so yeah, so things change. We try to streamline the process this year.
Yeah.
So if you actually go to the website, and I guess I'm going to use theater, hopefully. So you can go to FGCU. So this is our website, and then right here, we'll see an interest form. If you click on this, it brings you to a very fast form stack. And as soon as you enter in the information, basically, I have 3 undergraduate advisors as well as a graduate advisor. The goal is to have somebody contact you within 72 hours of when you submit the form.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks.
Other questions? I'll leave by saying, look, and you say this for what it's worth. I have a lot of people that I work with, and there's this entire saddle here. It's called, Imposter Syndrome. Do you all know what it is? Okay. So a lot of students here at FGCU actually have this, where they don't feel like they belong, or they don't feel like they're good enough. The thing I tell you is everybody has a unique story, and y'all are good enough. By coming into the office, you're fine. It means that you're ready. If you want to compete, I have no problem supporting anybody in every single way possible. So just know this is what the office does. Cool. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.